Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to look at the fourth series called Dualities. And duality is this or that. It's male, female, old, young. There's lots of dualities in Western ways of thinking. So we're going to be looking not just at Alice in Wonderland, but the Snark Hunt, Sylvie and Bruno. We'll looked at Humpty Dumpty, so stay tuned for that. I'll try to tell you a little bit about some of these tales. We're going to focus on what are the dualities. And in my work, thinkment.com, tentativeness.com, truestorytelling.org, ontonarrative.com, I'm trying to pull all these together along with Q shamanism, quantumshamanism.com, if you want to check all those things out. So let's get started. And today I'm going to look at 5 kinds of activities here of the dualities. And here we see the Disney version of little Alice in Wonderland. And we want to sort of, I'm going to superimpose myself over Alice here for a while. So the kinds of dualities that Gilles Deleuze is talking about in the book, The Logic of Sense, is the cause and the effects. You don't often think of these as dualities, but you have causes and effects. So what's that relationship? Friedrich Nietzsche brought some attention to this relationship of cause and effect. A mosquito bites me, or I notice the bite, and it must have been a mosquito. The corporeal things and the incorporeal events, this relationship of things and kind of our construction of things in language and our construction of things in the event. Then you have things and our proposition, like the last series we looked at, the proposition, how do we get dry from the pool of tears that Alice cried? So they test out different propositions using what I call the old school tentativeness of trial and error and kind of sorting it out by experimentation. Then you have the event in things and in language. And here I'm talking about existential things in the event and the language which describes an event but is not the event itself. And finally, something I think unique to Gilles Deleuze is he's questioning, is Alice, the little girl, an ideal or is she anorexic? And the reason he's asking this is because these series are about eating and not eating, growing and not growing. So when I drink this, do I grow? Larger or smaller, what happens to me? Depends on how much you eat. Now let's start with something easier. Humpty Dumpty. This is an amazing tale. It's awesome. You remember it growing up. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and men couldn't, the queen's horses and men probably, couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again, however that goes. But here's what Deleuze says about it. When I use the word Humpty Dumpty, said, in rather scornful tone, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less. This is what a quote that Deleuze pulls out of Alice in Wonderland treatment by Lewis Caroll. He pulls out this other one. The question is, said Alice, whether you can make words mean so many different things. And isn't it amazing that words mean so many different things and we're left to figure it out by the context in which the words are spoken. And Humpty Dumpty is saying, no. Humpty Dumpty It just means what I choose it to mean. So that's this perspective of Humpty Dumpty. It's not the perspective of Alice or other characters. So here you see this kind of plurality, this multivocality, this, what Bakhtin calls heteroglossia, if you want to get technical about it, which you do not. So let's move on. So the duality of two sorts of words, they have a temper in some words. Like verbs have a temper. They're proud. You use verbs in a certain way. You don't use them in every which way. Some could argue with that, but I would say, you do kind of use adjectives for any old thing. Second, there's impenetrability. Can you penetrate or you can't penetrate? There's a passability of events or impassibility in relation to actions and the passions of bodies, because bodies are involved in the events, bodies are involved in action, bodies are involved in passion. And, impassibility, remember the mosquito that bites, Nietzsche's mosquito that bites, the bump. Do I see the bump? And then whoa, something has penetrated me. Impassibility of my skin. Well, I've got some bruises here that would say it's kind of has some issues. Resistance of surfaces and the softness of depth. I mean, it's about the egg, really. To put it really simple, you have an egg shell. That shell, you can tap on it, but if you tap too hard, you're going to penetrate it, and you're going to find out the softness of the depth, unless it's a boiled egg, but we don't boil Humpty Dumpty alive. That would be very cruel. And I like the notion, Bruno Latour, who passed away a few months ago, says that our Earth has a shell like an egg, and we live just on this shell zone. That's where our water is, our aquifers, our lakes, our rivers, our mountains, our cities. And we could go deeper into the earth, but we're not going to find water anymore. We're going to find minerals and maybe gold and silver and stuff like that. And we go deeper and find oil, but we can't go, when we go deep, it was just this molten, very hot, sun-like entity. So anyway, his point is we live on the shell of the earth, so we need to take care. We'll be coming back to this notion of taking care in a minute. Resistance of surfaces and the softness of the depth, or the resistance of the surfaces that we live on and the depths of the earth. Denotation of things and the expression of sense. So for the reading by Deleuze, these are two sides of the mirror. We pass through the mirror has two sides to it. And one side, if you remember, you're going to the fun house, the mirrors, we might look very, very strong, but we go to the other mirror and we're looking like, whoa, I'm so big and fat, oh no. So I try to find a mirror that matches the look that I want to have. So that's the kind of sides of the mirror. At one point in Alice in Wonderland, she's growing, she goes into a house and she continues to grow and grow and grow. She's worried she will grow and will never stop. I can remember my son telling me, "Oh, Dad, when will I stop growing? I'm getting so tall. And this brings back that anorexic thing. Eat this and get bigger, eat that and grow smaller. Isn't that what we all do in our diets as we follow through here? And here's the rabbit. I think you can see the images pretty well, so I'll just leave myself in the same size. The rabbit comes to help Alice to get out of the house, but Alice reaches her hand in and smashes a window and terrifies the rabbit. So they come up with a plan B. Plan B is the newt. The newt is a very powerful instrument, and this is a message to my son Ray. You know, the newt, I told you the story of the newt from the Lakota, and it was gifted to me by Dom Pepillon. in a book I'm doing on water. But anyway, the newt is a very powerful animal. Do not just think that because of the newt's size that the newt is not powerful. The newt can scamper down the chimney, but turns rocks into little cakes. And Alice initially thinks, oh, those are rocks. No, these are cakes. Eat a cake. How many cakes do I eat? I'm not telling you. Eat some cakes and you will shrink. So she eats cakes and she starts to shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink. And she worries, am I going to shrink? Am I going to disappear? And again, it's the anorexic dilemma here. And now we have the dualities, another eating duality, and the words about eating, and the thing, words about things. Let me get out of the way of the text here. So eat this side of the mushroom or the other side to change size. Which side do I eat or not eat? That's what the text says. So the caterpillar is up there, is smoking that device from the Mideast, I believe. And I've smoked it. It's kind of nice. It tastes good. You can get different flavors, and it's a good thing to sit around a cafe and smoke all of that stuff. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I did inhale. I don't think you're supposed to inhale. But anyway,